Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Aligned and Soulful Success. My name is Kavita Melwani, and I am a spiritual success and business coach for empaths, introverts, and for people that are conscious entrepreneurs and really want to create purposeful, profitable businesses aligned with their soul. And today, I want to specifically talk about creating, manifesting your dreams or desires and how to do that, how to have clarity on that. And if you've tried a lot of different techniques to manifest your desires and dreams and it hasn't worked, then I am going to encourage you to keep listening today because I have some tips, some tricks, some strategies to help you. Okay, and so I want you to leave today with something that you can actually use. That's always my desire for every episode of Aligned and Soulful Success. And I am looking to reach more people. So if you know of someone that could benefit from this podcast, I'd love it if you could just share it with them. Okay. So let's get started. Manifestation. Now, some of you may hear that word and think of it as a really woo way of looking at things. And I'm adding the word creation because that has not been used as much as manifestation, and that word means that you're going to create what you want, right? And so it's just that word has now been associated with um, almost like this own movement, right? And so I want to look at this through that. So before you there might be part of your subconscious mind that hears the word manifestation and starts to kind of disengage from this podcast, or trail off and not want to hear this because you think you've heard it before. But I'm going to encourage you to come back and listen, because in the way I'm going to talk about this, you most likely haven't heard it talked about this way before. So, the way I see this creation is that we as human beings get to create our lives. And I know that we all come from our own backgrounds, our own families, our own bodies, our own health. We all have these kind of set of circumstances that we've come into. And so I want to be clear that you're creating from there, right? And that your journey may not be, will not be, not may not be the same as someone else's. And so what you create and what you choose to create and how you create may not be exactly the same. And that's okay, right? And so this manifestation creation process is is about creating your experience, not just creating the external circumstances. So what manifestation is not is kind of like, think of it as like a magic wand, right? That you're going to sit in your house and you're just going to imagine things and you're going to vision things, and maybe even create a vision board, and there's everything is going to kind of magically happen, right? So what I'm talking about is, yes, you do create tools, you do have techniques to be clear about what you want and what that vision is, like the vision board. And some of you know that I do have a vision board workshop course that I have, right? And that I offer. And that course is more foundational because it does work through the subconscious mind. I do have exercises and visualizations to help you get clarity before you actually go and create a board. Okay. So most people create a vision board without that process. So when you are just doing that part of the process, when you're just imagining this life, creating this life, visioning, a lot of times that doesn't work. For some people it does. And great if that's for you, more power to you, right? But I will say for most people that doesn't work because there's part that's missing. So you may, of course, part of that is missing is you to take some steps. Okay, it is about spirit will meet you if you take steps. Your higher self, if you take steps, the universe will meet you if you take steps. Okay. Sitting in your home and by yourself and manifesting and visioning without taking any steps will not create what you want and will not create your desires and not create the life that you want. Okay. And so it is simple as that, but not. Okay. So it's not as simple as having a clear kind of vision of what you want in your life, of what your desires are, and then taking action towards that. Because I can hear some of you saying that, yes, I've done that. And I'm still not getting the results that I desire. Right. And so let's start even further back and look at where do those dreams and desires come from? Because oftentimes those dreams and desires are there because we believe we need those things. And society has conditioned us to believe that that is the path for happiness. That is the path for fulfillment. That is the path that we need to go on, and we need to get these things to feel a certain way. Pretty much everything we do is because we want to feel a certain way or we don't want to feel a certain way. Okay. And so without even realizing it, I started by talking about we're all born into a set of circumstances, right? And so these set of circumstances contribute to your conditioning and your beliefs of what's possible, okay, and what you think and believe you need to be happy. Right. And so it's really important to be clear about the origin of those dreams and desires. Where do they come from? Why do you want them? And how do you think that you will feel if you have them? And so, even further, to look at your conditioning that comes from your culture, that comes from your family of origin, that even comes from the people you surround yourself with. In fact, a few weeks back about you are the sum of the people that you surround yourself with, the people you spend the most time with, the community that you're around. All of that impacts your dreams and desires. Okay. And so when you have all these things around you that impact your dreams and desires, and you don't consciously choose what you want to create. Instead, you just go for those dreams and desires, believing that that's either what you should do or what you actually need to have a fulfilling and happy life. And you don't question those things. And there's a big part of you that doesn't want them. Okay. You're not going to create them, right? That conditioning is impacting your results. Okay. And so let me give you an example because I learn through examples and stories, and I think most people do. And that may help your understanding of what I'm trying to say here. So let's say in your family, one of the definitions of a successful person is going to a good school, getting a degree in a desirable job, getting a corporate job, okay, and working for a certain company where you have benefits and stock options and all those things, right? So there's nothing wrong with all those things if that's what you really want. The question is that what you really want? And why do you think that you want that? And why do you feel like you want that? I work with clients all the time that follow those types of paths, and they come to me and they just feel like something's wrong, something's missing. They really were called in a different direction, but were given messages either, overtly or covertly, right? That what they wanted is not real, it's not true, it's not okay, and it is not going to lead them the path and to happiness and fulfillment. In fact, it will do the opposite. So they need to let that go. Okay. And so I often see this in people, in things that people write. And sometimes I see this in really successful people. Like if you look at them on paper, amazing, right? Amazing successes. And they have this sense of like, oh, you can't go for your dreams and you can't go for your purpose. You need to just go for the money. And they believe that, right? They truly believe that. And that's why they're teaching that. Okay. So So I don't, as you can probably tell. I do believe that we go and fulfill our true purpose in the world, which is multi-layered, by the way. And I've had episodes on that as well. And as we're going through the world with our purpose and we create dreams and desires from there, and then we work towards those dreams and desires, then that creates that fulfillment and happiness that we most of us want. The challenges come when our subconscious mind and our conditioning stops us. And we may not even realize it's doing it. Most of the time, we don't. And that's the value of working with someone that understands how your subconscious mind works and can do shadow work with you. Okay. And so the shadow work will help you uncover those things underneath the consciousness that are actually stopping you from achieving your dreams and goals, and even help you uncover what you really, really, and truly want. Right. And so that your dreams, your desires are now truly in alignment. And you get to create from there instead of that cloudy place of what part of what I want is because I think I need this. What part of what I want is because my family of origin has told me that I need this. What part of what I want is because society is telling me. Maybe you're following some people or reading some books and they've told you, right? So there's a sense of like I need to have this in order to feel this way and to have a fulfilling life. How do you know if you are creating and in a clean way, let's say? Okay, how do you know that you have this clear vision and you're working towards it and it's in alignment with who you are? All you have to do is look at your results and how you feel about those results. So I gave that example of people and really successful, financially successful people created a lot of things in their life. Now those people could say, "Oh, look, I'm creating what I want," right? But if they're not feeling good about it and they just have this kind of like emptiness and trying to fill it with more and more, that's an indication that they're not feeling that fulfillment, right? And so that's how you know. That's how you know if what you're creating, if your desires are clear, if your subconscious mind is not stopping you, you know by the results. And the caveat with that is when you reach blocks, that doesn't mean that you're on the wrong path. It doesn't always mean, let me say that, right? So when you reach a block, it's time for you to do some more work on that, right? If you're reaching a kind of a roadblock, what is that about? What is in my conditioning? What is it that I really believe about this? Right? And what do I really believe? Not what I say I believe or what I tell myself I believe. What do I really feel about this? Not what you tell yourself you feel about it. Okay. And so, really looking at all those things when you are creating, really looking at all those things when you are manifesting. Okay. And so, your fears also contribute to your results or lack of results. So, if you have some fears that if you are able to have a successful business, then you will be drained. You won't be able to spend time with your family or friends, and you basically won't have a real life. And then, but on the surface, you're saying that you really want this, you really want the successful business, but underneath there's that fear of that happening, then you will stop yourself. And how do I know this? Because I've seen it, and more importantly, I've experienced it. Because I grew up in a family of origin where my family were immigrants. My parents have a high school level community college. My mother has that kind of education. And they were entrepreneurs and they were struggling for many, many years. And in order for them to say, as reach the American dream, they worked a lot. We didn't go on vacations together. If we did, it was with one parent, and we were always staying in like these motels and things like that. We didn't have a lot of fun. We didn't really get to experience a lot of life until we were older. And I remember a point when my parents did start to make money, but they did that and they were gone a lot, right? And then there was this by then, my mind had been programmed to think that in order to reach that level of success, that I would have to give that up. And that really stopped me when I had my kids. Because when I had my kids, I had decided without realizing it, some of it was conscious, right? That I did not want my kids to feel like I was not there for them. But some of it was a subconscious fear that if I reach a certain level in my business, then I won't have the time, energy to be there for them. And that was contributing to the results that I was getting at the time. And it was influencing my true desires, right? So telling the truth is your results to go deeper. And so I'm going to take this a little bit further and say how being an empath or empathic influences this process. Being an empath often means that you can feel other people's energy and feel other people's feelings and feel things around you at a deep level. And so, if you can begin to imagine that a person that's not empathic is impacted by the happenings around them, by the people around them, by their community, by their subconscious conditioning, I want you to take that a little further and think about how that could impact you as an empathic person or an empath. If you're a sensitive soul and you have experienced those things, if you feel things deeper, then more likely than not, you have that conditioning deep. It's deep, it's almost embodied, right? And so needing to now create a new way to move past those blocks, those subconscious programming, all of that, the shadows, and come out the way that you want to be, being and showing up how you want to show up and creating what you want to create. So, what do you want? Why do you want it? Do you know where that's coming from? What fears are stopping you? What results are you getting? Take a moment and think about all that. I'm going to encourage you to look at what came up for you as I was talking today. What things kind of bothered you a little bit, or what things excited you? What evoked the emotion? And I want you to go there because that is where you can work on the changes and the creation happens. Because once you are clear with your dreams and desires, and you start to already feel that, and you feel the excitement, and it's in alignment with who you are, you will start to create. So if you one of the things that you want to create is a purposeful and profitable business through dream clients that you love, I have a free masterclass on Wednesday, May 17th. It will be at 12 p.m. Eastern. And in that class, I talk about the keys that you need to take, the key steps you need to take to attract dream clients that you love. It's a free class. I also will be coaching people live. Those people that show up live will get laser coaching. So if that is something that you're interested in, please join me. The registration link will be available in the show notes. And if you know someone that may benefit from that, please share. So this is Kavita with Aligned and Soulful Success, hoping that you can manifest your dreams and desires. Until next week, take good care. Bye.